Are we live? Are we good to go? Hello. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I think I won't use earphones just because there's not really much going on in terms of sound. It just sounds so weird not having earphones because then I sound really loud. So then I want to be like low self-consciously. Hopefully the sound is great. I tested it. I always test it, but you know, sometimes it messes up. So today it's going to be a very special day for us because we are going to do a tier list. Now, for those of you that are watching the replay, there's going to be 3 sections. So there's going to be Bronze to Diamond, Grandmaster to Celestial, and then Eternity to One Above All. I think that's usually how I do it. So that's what we're going to do. On top of that, we're going to make a shorter version of it after. So if you guys are watching, it's like, oh, this is a bit too long. I'll make a shorter version that's just condensed and everything. But this is just if you want the explanation of all the characters and why I say what I say and things like that, it's here. Now, the other thing, the most important thing that no one ever listens to, but I say it every single time anyway, this is a solo tier list. This means that we're rating the impact of the characters if you were to play it by yourself or at minimum with the duo. If you are playing with a stack, a lot of these characters function differently because everybody tries to play with each other. But in the simple terms of I'm playing by myself and I'm climbing, or I'm playing with one more person and I'm climbing, that's what this tier list is about. Yes, obviously it works for the other stuff as well, but just keep in mind sometimes when you play with other people, they can easily make you feel better or make other things feel better than what they are. So again, solo tier list, just keep that in mind. All right, let's rock and roll. So first things first is that minimize this on my way. So first thing first is Bronze to Diamond. As you see, we have 4 categories. We have free wins if you're good. Then you have 50-50 team reliant, and then you have good luck. Basically, the 50-50 team reliant just means that, you know, you might win, you might not. It really just depends more on if your team is okay or not. If they're really struggling, you're probably not going to win unless you're smurfing. And none of these are in context of smurfing. This is basically if you are in that rank, this is what it's like. And then good luck is just like, yeah, good luck, bro. Have fun with that one. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to give a brief explanation of each character. If you guys have questions or whatever, obviously I'm reading it, but for the most part, we're going to just try to get through the list and all that extra good stuff. Let's say hello, Victor, good to see you. Zaya, good to see you. Adolfo, good to see you. All the big ball players, and good to see the rest of you guys that are lurking, because I know I see y'all. Y'all's lurking. Let's get into it so we don't run out of time today. So first one is Adam Warlock. So Adam Warlock is one of those characters that you can consider like a carry character. He's more focused on doing damage than he really is focused on healing. The thing about Adam Warlock is he doesn't have to aim when he heals, and so he just like fires it off and is good to go. If you are good, in my opinion, you can get the dub. The thing about Adam Warlock in these ranks is that in these ranks from Bronze to Diamond, people don't usually use their support ultimate correctly. So the problem with Adam Warlock, generally speaking, is that whenever he ults, he doesn't really have a an AoE ult, the one that just kind of, you know, like Cloak and Dagger and stuff like that. He doesn't have that. The only thing he has is a res. And the res is okay, but even in those ranks, the res kind of sucks anyway. But the thing about lower ranks, typically speaking, is that generally it is better to get KOs than it really is to do anything else. This is why it's so easy for dive players to climb through Bronze and Diamond, because it doesn't really matter. People don't save their ultimates for specific things. People don't they don't know how to use their abilities properly. There's a lot that's not going on with the team cohesion. There you go. Looking up a different word. Corrosion. I think that's what I was thinking about. But the team cohesion. So everything's kind of all around and all over the place. And so this is why he's actually capable of doing what he needs to do. The healing, again, you do not need to aim. You just press it when you press it. And the more hits that you get on point, whether it's a headshot or not, you will refund the heal and you do it again. The downside to Adam Warlock is his heals aren't as potent as other characters. But again, he makes up for it in damage. And when you're in a rank where it doesn't really matter what's going on, as long as you guys just win the fight, Adam Warlock is actually a pretty decent pick. And this is the first time I've actually ever had him this high for any tier list I've done. But the recent buffs that he's gotten from patch to patch to patch, just, it's phenomenal. And yeah, he definitely deserves to be where he is. Next one that we have is going to be Black Panther. Not really much to say. This character has always been just really busted. And when I mean that, it takes a lot of effort to KO this character. Even one above all players, like, it's hard to KO a good Black Panther, and then it's hard to KO just a regular Black Panther. So like, there's not really any differentiation. The only difference between a good Black Panther and a regular one is the KO time. A good Black Panther will KO you in a split second, especially if you're already taking damage. A average Black Panther most likely is gonna take a minute to do it, and they'll get away. Even if they fail, they'll still get away. So Black Panther is one of those characters where it's like you don't really have any worries. You just go in, do what you want to, and you're good to go. Character is pretty free win heavy, and as we said before, this rank doesn't really have the cohesion. This rank doesn't really understand a lot of what you need to do as a team to make things work. A lot of it is more of it's your fault, or you need to pick this one character, and this one character will do everything for you, and that's not typically how it works. Black Panther really only has one counter, and it's the thing, but even then, all you have to do is bait it. Act like you're going in, he's gonna slam, because, you know, the rank. People even do it in high rank. People will still slam. And as soon as you do that, he'll slam, and you wait. He doesn't have it anymore, go nuts. See what I'm trying to say? So, for the most part, he's busted. He's still busted, and he will always be. The better the players, the harder this character is to pull off, but for bronze to diamond, it's very easy to pull that character off. Black Widow. So there's two types of Black Widow players. Oh, she has little knives. That's super clean. I never even knew that. This is the first time I pulled the skin out. So there's two types of Black Widow players, right? You have the Black Widow player that was probably gonna sit down sights and do this all game, right? And then you have the real Black Widow players that she's kind of more of a battle sniper. Now I'm on delay, so things aren't going as I press them for the sake of the stream. But, you know, you're pretty much running around and doing all your stuff like this. Like, those are the two Black Widow players that you have. You can have a mix of them, but you can have the extreme of one or the other. It doesn't matter. But those are typically the two Black Widow players that you see. That being said, the main issue with Black Widow is that she doesn't have high uptime. Your uptime is dependent on how often you land your shots. And
bogeys, here they come.
The thing about DPS that people don't really understand a lot when they're in these ranks is that your job is to pressure. Your job is to make it so that your team can play the game. Your job is to find picks and all that extra good stuff, right? But the only thing Black Widow players typically look for is just picks. And you're going to see this until you probably get to, like, eternity, honestly. I've only played with one good Black Widow. Nah, maybe two. And they understood target priority. If you're playing this character in this rank, you probably don't understand target priority, and you probably don't understand positioning. And I just don't think it's worth it. Not right now. So, in my opinion, good luck. Next character that we have is Captain America. My boy. So they recently nerfed him. But nothing too crazy. He was nerfed, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. The thing about Cap is that he's just really fast. He's very annoying, and he can do whatever he wants, and he kind of just gets away with it. There was a release of Daredevil, but he's still not faster than, like, the true counter to Cap is Iron Fist and the Thing and Mr. Fantastic. Those are the three true counters to Cap. Anything else, Cap can deal with pretty easily, but those, especially Iron Fist, that character is nuts. There's a lot of Iron Fists in Bronze and Diamond, but from my experience, they don't know how to play it against the Cap. So Cap just gets away with a lot. And we're kind of in the same aspect of the Black Panther thing. If there's not a lot of team cohesion. I keep wanting to say corrosion. There's not a lot of team cohesion. He gets away with a lot. Like a lot. It's kind of ridiculous how much he gets away with. He doesn't have the damage like Black Panther does, but he just has survivability. So the real thing that counters Cap is going to be a good player. If the player is good, they can beat him. But if the player is not, they won't. And a lot of what you'll see, especially in these ranks, is people get overwhelmed. And they feel like, oh my God, deal with this, deal with this, deal with this. And then they just kind of lose focus and start panicking. Cap is not a problem once people stop doing that. But when people start doing it, he's pretty free. But I will say that he's only really free if you know what you're doing. You don't need to be cracked. You don't need to be insane. The character's easy. But what I mean is you kind of have to have an idea of what you're doing and why, and then he'll work. If you're just running around, you're not going to get much done, and you're going to have horrible timing, and your team's going to be mad at you and whatnot. But if you really understand, even at the basic level of like, I should do this because, I should do that because, you're going to start rolling through these ranks like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. He's so strong in that regard. The next character that we have is Cloak and Dagger. All right, so it's Cloak and Dagger. She's kind of been the same. I don't really think she's gotten many changes that really make or break this character. I know there was one season where people were like, dude, this character sucks. I'm just like, bro, nothing even happened to her at all. So, yeah, I don't think much has changed with this character, but she did get a buff so that she's 275 HP. This means that there's a lot of targets in this game that can't one-shot her. If you're 275, a lot of targets need to do a little bit more damage to take you out. Honestly, I think all healers should be 275. I don't know what we're doing, but characters like Black Panther needs to do a little bit extra work. Characters like Spider-Man need to do a little bit extra work. Characters like Hawkeye needs to do a little bit extra work. Like all these one-shot type characters, or at least one-shot window type characters, need to do a little bit more work to take you out, and that's important. And like I said before, a lot of the changes that she's been through, this more or less been for the better. There's like one that was for the worst, but then they buffed her again. The thing about this character is that she auto wins team fights. Like with her ult, she just auto wins team fights, without a doubt. All this character needs to do is just ult, boom, boom. Someone's gonna be dumb enough to stand at the end, and then all you do is you turn into Cloak, pop the thing, chase him down, free KO, and then you look behind you and KO the rest of the team. Like this works even in Celestial. It's kind of ridiculous how often this works, especially if you wait for them to shove you. If you wait for them to shove your team and your team's backing up, right? And then you just straight up ult. They have nowhere to run. They're done. They're done. This ult is the most flexible ult in the game, in my opinion. And this character is very flexible. The only downside is that she's cooldown based, more or less. Like she can heal like this, but like it ain't really that. It's nothing. She will need her cooldown. She'll need that, you know. But for the most part, very easy to play, very impactful for how little she does. The only thing that Cloak and Dagger players struggle with, and I think this is a skill gap issue, like a player issue, is that they don't really know how to ult properly, and every time they ult, they get KO'd more often than not. It's actually ridiculous how often Cloak and Dagger, like if there was a counter to count how many times each support gets KO'd mid ultimate, they would be first place. It's ridiculous. So all you need to do to really bring her home is just practice where you're gonna end at your final dash, and once you do that, you'll be solid. If you really want to, all you need to do is do it in your ult. Make sure your Cloak, after your ult, pop up, you're solid. Again, a lot of it's just user error, but this character is completely broken, and you don't even need to aim. You don't even need to really land in it. Look, like what is that? And that goes for damage as well. You don't need to aim, it just goes. Like, that makes no sense. But it's a very noob-friendly character, and if she remains how she always remains, free wins all day long. All day long. Not even a joke. All right, next we have Doctor Strange. With Doctor Strange, he's a little bit different because Doctor Strange, he's one of those characters that will just kind of baby you. If you don't really know what you're doing, you could still win the match, I'm not gonna lie. But if you do know what you're doing, he'll roll through the game like it's no other. When you really figure out what you're doing, you will stomp. But remember, we're not thinking of it as smurfing. We're thinking of it as if you are in these ranks and this is your skill level. Doctor Strange is not gonna be rolling over anybody. It's funny because by the time you get to a rank where you understand Doctor Strange, you can't roll over anybody anymore. It's a really weird like thing to think about. But for the most part, Doctor Strange is really solid, always been solid. Very good at the fundamentals, very good at protecting your teammates from getting one-shot by snipers or things like that. Very good AoE damage, so if the Spider-Man comes in or a Black Panther comes in and you kind of just time it, once they come in, you can pop them, it'll be a nice little chunk of damage on them. Sometimes it's enough to even take them out. Very good force presence. You see a big shield walking towards you, it's very hard to just ignore it. On top of that, you can brute force your way through just by walking up, maelstroming, and getting behind cover. He's just your staple. He's your staple. Like he's always just your staple character, without a doubt. But he's not broken. And I don't want to spend too much time talking on this character because he's definitely just an all-around character. He's not broken, but he's really good. If you and this is not like saying it from the standpoint of like it's your first game ever on the character. You're not smurfing, but you understand the character, right? The list is basically you understand the character. You're not just clueless. If you understand the character, if you get good at the character will roll through games. He's just not going to do it without work. He definitely needs to know why he's doing something. And that's kind of just tank in a nutshell. Tank is just very hard to do anyway, so not a lot of tanks are free wins, to be fair, because of the nature of the role. But he's very strong. He's very strong. All right, next we have Groot. So Groot got a little change to a lot of things within the recent patches, but the most noticeable one was this Iron Wall. It can no longer be moved around. I don't really think this is that much of a thing. Like, unless you're playing Wolverine or Angela or Bucky or... Like, it doesn't really matter if he gets moved around or not. Boy still takes damage. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I haven't seen much difference to this character. So, the buffs and nerfs that he gets are generally just, like, Groot players specifically. There's not hardly any buffs that I've seen this guy get where it was like anybody that doesn't play Groot, it's gonna be crazy. A lot of what he gets is just for the Groot mains. And they're never really super hard hitting. They're just usually quality of life. Just to help people play him better. You know what I mean? That being said, his ultimate is one of the most broken. One of the most broken things in the game. The ult makes no sense. That is crazy range to suck them all in. If you have the wall there, of course, it's going to do damage. Like, bro, this character is gnarly. And then, the fact that you can just wall off tanks from walking backwards. Some Groots get really creative and they, like, corner you in, something like that. Dude, Groots are crazy. The one thing I will say about Groot, though, he only really works against tanks that don't understand how to tank against Groot. Groot is very weak if the tank knows how to tank against Groot. That being said, you're not going to have a tank that knows how to tank against Groot in Bronze and Diamond. So without a doubt, that easily makes this character free wins. You don't need to know what you're doing, realistically, in these ranks, because you just need to know how to walk behind and pop the wall. If you can do this, you're good to go. On top of that, on defense, this boy is a tanky boy. This boy on defense is one of the hardest characters to push in. Not because he walls you, but the dude just has massive amounts of HP. Plus, he regenerates the HP. But like, bro, it's if he has 3 healers, it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a struggle. And he does a lot of damage. And his shots are very easy to hit. Like this guy is good, without a doubt. And as I said before, the real counter to Groot is like, do you know how to play against Groot? It's not really a character specific thing. Maybe they'll make a character that can break his walls in an instant. There's some characters that do more damage to it, but it's still not a one-shot wall break. If they had a character like that, like Phoenix ult as an example, removing the structures, just breaking on the wall, or any wall, you just bam, slam it. The Groot would be very weak towards it. But right now, it really you can only beat him if you know how. If the tank knows how to tank into him, it's going to be easy for the rest of your team. If the tank doesn't know how to tank into them, your healers need to know how to play around the Groot. If they don't, cooked. Your DPS might not have to worry about walls because most of them don't care. They can just position where they want. But for everybody else, the tank needs to know how to tank, or the healers need to know how to heal past the wall or around the wall. And if they don't, you're gonna lose 100% of the time. Character is really, really strong in that regard. And if you guys like Groot, I highly recommend playing that character. He is very good right now, and I think he will always be until they rework his kit, which I don't think they will because it's fine. Next, we have Hawkeye. So Hawkeye did get a buff, which was pretty substantial. He had 2 buffs. He had the buff where he gets to team up, and then he had a damage buff. And again, it's pretty substantial. Like, it's pretty freaking good. Hawkeye is interesting because the thing about Hawkeye players is they don't know how to position. Like, almost every single Hawkeye player, does not matter the rank, they don't know how to position, and they're always just out in the open like this. And the real threat of the Hawkeye is landing the shot, right? So you have a lot of players that tend to play this character, learn this character, get good at this character, but they only know how to land a shot. If they don't know how to land a shot and they miss, they don't know how to play the game. It's really strange, but once you encounter it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And they're relying on the skill to hit the shot. Nothing else. No game sense, no nothing. Just getting pocketed and landing the shot. That being said, there are good Hawkeyes, obviously. But that's just something to keep in mind. I will say, one of the craziest things to this dude's kit is his ult. His ult got buffed a while ago, and no one really talks about it, but it's actually just so broken. This dude's ult is ridiculous. It is such a team wipe winner, and because there's a lot of characters that move around, Magic, Iron Fist, Cap, Daredevil, even flying, like that happens, and all this dude has to do is ult, and he can shoot all of them. It's an insane ultimate. This character is beyond broken. Like I said, the main thing is people just don't understand how to play the game if they miss shots. But we're assuming that you understand just kind of like the basics of the character. If your team sucks, you're probably gonna take an L. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you have to hard carry with Hawkeye. He's not like I'm gonna support the team and win that way, right? He's a hit or miss. He's one of those hit or miss characters, and if you're not hitting shots, you're reducing your value, just like Black Widow. And again, he's not a hard character. Like, if everybody's focusing you, you're gonna get KO'd. There's not really a way for this guy to get away from damage other than the double jump, and then of course this little slice. But both of those go on cooldown. What do you do then? You're gonna get rolled over if your team sucks. If your tank sucks, rolled over. If your team sucks, rolled over. Like, you're still team reliant. And so we are going to put Hawkeye, boop, right there. Personally, I think he is probably a very, very good character right now. But remember, in the sake of our solo potential, or just playing with the duo, our duo potential, in the sake of being bronze diamond, what we're dealing with there, this character is not fantastic. I think overall, good character, but just in the sense of where we are and what we're dealing with, it's just not the best. He's a little bit too difficult in a sense, and that's what makes him rough. Okay, next we have Hela. So Hela, goodness gracious. Hela has been nerfed, buffed. She's been through the ringer like almost every season. Almost. I don't think she was touched this season. I don't remember, but she's been just through it every season. And every season she's still strong. She is still really strong every season. I'm not going to talk too much about her because she's basically similar to Hawkeye. And, you know, the only difference is there's no charge time. She just fires it off and it's hit scan, not projectile. Again, not really much to say because she's typically just Hawkeye at that point. Easier Hawkeye, easier Black Widow, very dangerous. Her ult is a great wipe ultimate. If it doesn't wipe, it at least makes people move. If they don't move, it requires Doctor Strange to fly up there and shield, or like someone else to ult to counter it. Phoenix maybe, things like that. And that's really a powerful thing. That being said, if I were to place her, that's rough. That's rough because she's kind of in the same spot as Hawkeye. It's kind of like, we're not looking at it like we're smurfing, right? If we're smurfing, this whole list would be different. But we're not looking at it like we're smurfing. We're looking at it like you're in this rank. And if you're in this rank, in order for a lot of these characters to pop off, you have to pop off. And popping off is not something that you typically do game to game. That is something where you have highs and you have lows. It's very inconsistent. When we're making a tier list, we want to think about the consistencies, not necessarily how strong they are when they pop off in your game, because that's not a game to game basis. For this rank, this one sucks because this one's hard. I'm going to have to put her at 50-50 Team Reliant. The reason being is because even if you're a good Hawkeye or you're a good Hela, you're not rolling over games in these ranks. You just don't know enough. You just don't know enough. Like, people in these ranks don't understand target priority, and target priority is one of the most important things that you need to learn in order to stomp games as a DPS. And there's not a lot of that. And so when you're thinking about characters that are single target based characters, they don't really have much AoE, you risk having the damage put into the wrong sources. As an example, when we're talking about Black Panther, his everything's AoE. On top of that, you're still, even if you just do horrible in the back line or whatever you're trying to do, he's still a presence. You still have to watch out for him. You still have to make sure that you pay attention to when this guy goes in. With Hawkeye and Hela, sometimes they shoot the wrong targets and people are chilling. Even if they aim for the healer, what if they miss? You know, it's not like nothing is consistent. And this is not even factoring in the other type of things like characters jumping onto them or characters blocking or a specific map. It's like not even factoring any of that. So I think if your team is getting run over, there's not really much that you can do about it because you're gonna have to pop off. And if you knew how to do that, you wouldn't be in these ranks. All right. Next we have Hulk. You guys didn't notice, or if you guys didn't see it, I did a video on the Hulk recently. So I'm doing a new series called Zero to Hero, and you guys select the characters that I play, and I play 3 matches, and I try to use game sense and just my knowledge to pilot the character. By the first game, we're like kind of rusty, and then by the 3rd game, we're putting it all together, and it's a great learning experience. I highly recommend it if people are trying to learn characters. I think it's a great series. I got a lot of positive feedback from it, and of course, you guys already told me what characters you guys want to play, or you guys want me to play. So we're definitely going to continue that series. All right. Next we have Hulk. So with the Hulk, there's gonna be a fight. With the Hulk, every season, bro. Every season I say almost the same thing with this character. This character is broken. Like, this character is phenomenally OP. It's one of the most OP tanks in the game, bro. The reason why this character is so broken is because he's so hard to deal with, and you don't know what he's gonna do. And even when he does it, he's always consistent. It's very hard to miss anything with this character once you know how to play this character. Like, you're not gonna miss the clap. You're probably not gonna miss the exile. Everything that you do is consistent. If they don't back you off the character, you're taking them out. Like, this character is actually freaking insane. Even in high ranks, I don't really see this guy fall off. People don't really play him that much because people don't like the tank, let me be honest. And when they do, it's kind of just drop Doctor Strange or Mag. But when you see the real Hulk players come out, yo, this dude's a menace. This dude's a menace. His ultimate's also a very good, like, people like to use things for damage, but obviously you can use it for so many more things. You can use it to back people up. You can use it to, you know, crowd control someone mid-ult, maybe magic ulted or something like that. You're draining their duration. This character is very flexible, and this character is, that's kind of what makes this character insane. He's not great at everything, but he's better than average at everything. And that's not really something you usually see in the jack of all trades characters. Usually you see you're kind of bad at everything, but you can do everything. This character is like, you're not insane at anything, but you could do pretty much everything really, really decently. And that's what makes the Hulk very good. in my opinion, without a doubt, character's free wins. Like, bro, without a doubt, character is one of the most free win tanks in the game for these ranks. And as I said before, it's because the dude is just very, very difficult to deal with. And he's very consistent. And that's the thing that you look for, is what can I do from game to game to game? The fact that this dude cannot miss, when you think about Cap, his hitbox is very small, so it's easier to whiff. You can whiff his throw. There's a lot of things wrong with Cap, but with this character, I mean, you're successful. You just gotta tell him what to do, and he'll do it. Very few characters in this game work like that. You just tell this guy what to do, you input what you need to input, he will go ahead and do it for you. That's a very good character. And so we're gonna put this dude at free wins. He's a great character. I love this character. I used to main him way back in the day, but then Cap got in my face, and then yeah, that was that. Next character we have is Iron Fist.
You know my legacy.
So
Is a whole new chapter.
with Iron Fist, pretty free character. Not much to say about it. Character just has a lot in this kit, and the character's just very hard to deal with. The thing about this character is, like, he's very noob friendly. And I know his difficulty stars, I think it says 4. Is it 5? Let me see, something's blocking it. Oh, it's 4. I know a lot of people think this character just takes so much skill and blah, 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 blah. And I think that's typically how everybody thinks when it comes to high uptime characters or characters that require a lot of button presses. They feel like the characters that require button presses are just the most difficult characters in the world, but they're not. You really only need to know how to do the basics. And the basics is, can you jump? Can you attack? Can you jump? Can you attack? And then you just sit on top of their heads. It's very hard to hit you when you're doing this. And then once they're low, you just need to go in and finish them off. Run away, do this, run away, dip out, whatever, right? It's very easy to do. You can play them 2 ways. You could be the frontliner, which is kind of just focusing on more uptime and just more like brawl heavy. There you go, not frontliner. Brawl heavy, focus on being in there, focus on doing a lot, button mashing, and, you know, just doing all that extra nonsense. Or you could be the other version where it's just more of like looking to secure. So you're waiting for people to get low, you're waiting for people to not pay attention to you, and then as you go in, you take them out, get a few hits in, blah, blah. Once you take one, assess the situation. Can I keep going? Yes, you can. You keep going. Should they turn on you? Okay, you do that. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. You assess the situation. Should I keep going or should I run? Keep going. And you just wipe the entire team. This character is not difficult. He's just weird. But once you get used to how he works, he's very easy to pull off without a doubt. This character, unless he is reworked, is going to be a free win character for a while. Next, we have Iron Man. Iron Man,
I never had kids.
I don't really feel like I have to talk much about this character. Dude flies. Flyers and flyers in bronze and diamond is like kryptonite. It's painful because people don't really know what to do against them, and you're hoping your DPS or somebody can deal with them. More often than not, you will see people just turn. When they start losing, they'll just take out Iron Man. They'll take out Iron Fist. They'll take out, like, when you see people lose and they take out characters, that's how you know the character's broken. So Iron Man is usually one of those characters that are going to be taken out when they're losing. And if you main him, you probably won't be where you are for long because he's just that strong. The fact that he can also just take out people mid-ultimate, dude's nasty. Dude's nasty. Is Iron Fist more dive or tank bust? He could do both. It really just depends on what you want to do. But he could do both. Without a doubt, we're going to put this dude at free wins. Come on, not even a joke. Next question. Next character that we have is Jeff. Jeff. I'm not going to be biased. I promise. I'm going to be fair. Not biased because I hate this character. Fair. From my experience, this character's garbage and he makes you lose tons of games. I don't know why people think that because it's good in pro, it automatically equates to being good in ranked play, because that's not the same gameplay. The character will cost games, without a doubt. It's not a good character. That being said, usually Jeffs will win, not on their own accord, but because their team helped them win. And this is hard, dude. This is so hard. Oh my God. Oh, this is so difficult. I'm gonna, for the sake of it, the thing is, Bronze to Diamond, as I said before, when it's the same thing with Adam Warlock. They don't know how to use ultimates properly. So if Jeff just fires his ult off randomly, it's perfectly okay because they don't know how to use their ults. They don't know how to synergize. They don't know how to do that. And that allows Jeff to be better. That being said, he acts as a lower win rate in low ranks. Make that make sense. He's so freaking bad, bro. I don't want to be here forever, but my brain really is having a hard time. It's between good luck and 50-50. Nah, for these ranks, it's good luck. It's good luck. Free wins if good for Jeff? What? No. No. For this rank, we're just gonna say good luck. I mean, it also matches the win rate that he has in these ranks too. The thing that I'm thinking, although his ults aren't really that much of an issue, the problem with these ranks in Jeff is sometimes your team it's very hard for your team to be good enough to carry you in these ranks. Like, it's very hard to have that happen. No matter what role you are, you don't get them a lot. Once you get to about maybe Celestial, one above all, or not one above all, Celestial, Eternity, or one above all, then you start having those matches where your team is kind of goated enough to pull through. In my experience, I don't see that happen that much in these ranks. Your team's probably gonna let you down a lot more than help you. So, and they have to play really well with Jeff. It's not just like, oh, ignore Jeff and play the game. You have to know how to play with the Jeff, and people just don't know how to, and it's just not it. It's just not it. And we are thinking about 2-2-2. We're not thinking about having him in a 3 healer. So this is all normal standard 2-2-2 settings. Next, we have Loki. So Loki received a nerf. People thought he was bad. I obviously did not. But let's be honest. When do I ever think what you guys think? Let's be real here. Let's be real. Nah, but seriously, I didn't really think he was that bad. He did get a little buff this patch, but it wasn't nothing crazy, and it shouldn't be. The problem with this character, he was always like a second DPS, or a third DPS really, if you have 3 healers. And that's not fun to play against. And when people can't do that anymore, they think the character sucks because he's not what they wanted him to be. Something different. He actually was something other than what they wanted, and that's what people like. So in order to put him back to what they want, they give him nerfs. However, a lot of the people that play Loki doesn't want that version. They want that version. So they assume it's bad, whereas they're just pulling him back to what he should have been in the first place. And that type of balance, I agree with. Without a doubt, though, not gonna sit on him for too long. He's always the same. If you're good, you win. This character is just insane. I mean, before he was free wins, I'm not gonna lie, but now with the changes, he doesn't have as much damage as he used to. And you need to, in order to get bonus healing, you need to actually hit the target. It's definitely very safe to say that if you're good, you'll win. If you're not, you'll lose. And that's what pretty much this means. So if it's free wins, if good, that means if you're not good, you're probably gonna take an L. So basically, these guys would be where good luck is. Does that make sense? But when you're good with these two characters, it doesn't equate to getting a win. You could still be good and lose because that's just the nature of the character in the rank and just how people play. So if you're good with Captain America, you'll win. If you suck, you're not gonna win. So these are the type of characters that generally play better when you're better, and that's pretty much what we're talking about and focusing on. All right, next we have Luna.
I didn't always love my power.
So I was actually informed, which is weird. I was informed that Luna had a very low win rate
You on ice.
in high rank, but it was better in low rank, which I just thought was strange. But I will say, a lot of people in high rank aren't necessarily heal mains unless they pre-made. So a lot of what you see is DPS hopping on heals or tanks hopping on heals, and I could see how that would lower Luna's win rate. I think the character has always been solid. People really thought about Luna's ult being why she's good or bad, but I never really cared too much about the ultimate. The thing is, she has some great healing. If you can aim, bro, her healing is phenomenal. And that's what makes her really good. Also, the fact that she could just put the snowflake on someone that goes to run away and you're healing them. Whenever I get a snowflake on a character that I'm playing with that isn't with the team, it's the most, it's lovely. I will say that the thing that makes or breaks Luna players is not understanding when to use their cooldowns. They just spam this, and then they don't have it when they need it, or they'll spam the snowball, and then they don't have it when they need it. Those are the two things that like make or break Luna's, and you'll see it because those are very important abilities that, again, people just tend to not.
Right there.
They just don't pay attention to it. Also, old girl has insane damage.
Another hit for Luna.
Like her damage on headshots is crazy. It's crazy. You almost 2-tap. Like what? That's nuts. And then of course her ultimate's very solid. Very good engage, very good disengage. It's just very good all around. If I were to place her, it would be man, this one's hard.
There they are.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna place her here. The problem with Luna Snow is that when she's in trouble, she doesn't really have a way to not be in trouble. And so you're relying on positioning to not be in trouble. Or someone helping you. These ranks don't really understand positioning that well, right? And so a lot of the times you'll hear or see when they type, whether it's in the game or somewhere else, healers complaining. You know, there's no one helping me, there's no one watching my back, etc., 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 etc. And that's because she doesn't really have a way to move. Like if you're jumped on, what do? You good luck hitting the snowball and then you're cooked. There's not really a way to stop that. If you're playing a game with a front to back fight, like there's no divers or no snipers, even snipers are fine, but no divers or no disruption, she excels because she doesn't have to move. She's chilling. But if you're dealing with something that requires her to move around a lot or requires her to be aware, she's going to get rolled over, and you are going to have to rely on your team to help you out. There's not really a way to bail yourself out, which means your position has to be insane. That being said, even if you are good with Luna in these ranks, you're not good enough to carry. So it doesn't matter how good you are. If your team sucks with this like character, like if your team is garbage, you're going to lose. There's nothing you could do. And that's what we're focusing on, right? We're focusing on the impact you have as a solo player, or if you're duoing as a duo, not in stacks. If you have nobody watching your back, if you have nobody caring about what you're doing, there's not a way for you to outplay many situations unless you are very good at paying attention and being aware. But if you knew how to do that, you wouldn't be here in the first place. See what I'm trying to say? So I think Team Reliant is a very good spot for this character. Next we have Magic. LOL. Do we even need to talk about this character? Bro, character just got a skin. If they get a skin, automatically OP. So we're just gonna move. The thing is, I already talk about her all the time, so I'm not going to talk about her. But she's basically a bruiser tank with a one-shot capability, and she can never miss because her stuff is wide and is AOE. How do you lose that is beyond me. She has a lot of invulnerability. She has invincibility frames. Plus, she she has dodges, so that is considered a dodge. This is considered a dodge. She has a lot of movement, and then she has overshields, and character is just overloaded. I think they're not. I think they're gonna change her eventually, or they're going to introduce characters that just shut her down. And what I mean by this is they're probably gonna drop a character, and I feel like they already did, but I don't remember what character it is, or they added as a like a special change to them. But if there's a character that can drain a shield, Magic would be cooked. The real issue isn't really the invincibility, it's the overshield. Because she can get it for free just by doing this. And so if you're just sitting near a wall and you're hitting whatever melee tank comes in, you have basically 400 HP. If you go in with this, it's incredibly difficult for them to take you out while you're invincible. You'll probably catch someone slipping, hit them with a one-shot combo, and then you're still chilling. But if they have a character that will drain energy from the people that have overshields, which I'm pretty sure they will do eventually, this character will be very difficult to play. Because that's what pretty much is why she's able to do what she does. It's that overshield. So, and then obviously the other buffs that they gave her for some magical reason, she has that as well. So yeah, she's gonna remain free wins because that character is just stupid. And she will always be stupid until we get nerfs. Magneto. So with Magneto,
it seems we have company.
I honestly feel like I don't even need to talk about this character. Let me be real. 50-50 team reliant. Even if you're good, you're not snowballing unless you're smurfing. And we're, again, not talking about this as we're smurfing. You're not smurfing. You're in these ranks. You're here for a while. Doesn't matter how good you are with Magneto, the character doesn't have enough for you to just stomp matches. It only happens if you're smurfing. Like, only happens when you're smurfing. So we're not, like I said, we're not even gonna spend time on that character because that one's pretty straightforward. Mantis. Mantis is actually... I love me some Mantis. I've been playing Mantis for a few seasons now. Whenever I heal, because there was no healer. Now we have Gambit. Mantis is on the bench. But I've been really playing Mantis for a few seasons, and I've been through her rough patches and through her strong patches and everything. There's one thing that just broke her. Like, one thing that made this character phenomenal. And what it is, well, two things. It's the ability to stack the heals. So it has a longer duration if you stack it. But the other thing that makes this character phenomenal is the fact that when she's hit now, she doesn't drop her speed. It goes down slowly. So you can still get away from danger after taking damage. And if you do, it ramps right back up, no problem. That right there makes her just, that movement speed buff is so good. It's underrated because you don't really pay attention to it. But if you play a match and pay attention to it, you'll realize that she is really hard to catch. And she's really hard to take out. She's a very, very good character in my opinion. The thing that makes her quote unquote bad is that you need to know how to land your shots. They're not that difficult to land. The thing that you see a lot of people do with Mantis is try to snipe. So they'll like do this. But that's not what you do. You hold it and you line it up. Because it's very difficult to even aim, especially long distance, without holding it. So you hold it, you line it up, you do your best to hit, and then you do. Now I wouldn't even be shooting things from that far because it's kind of a waste of time. But for the most part, that's how you would aim with her. And so when you get good at aiming with Mantis, it's pretty similar to Adam Warlock. The only difference is Adam Warlock doesn't have an ult like Mantis. Mantis ult is insane. It's very good for capitalizing on targets, but I will say it's only good when you have overshield. I feel like if you're using it to heal, it's okay. But you just have to be more cautious with her ultimate. Her ultimate's not so good like Invisible Woman or Cloak and Dagger where you just pop it and you save everybody. You do have to be a little bit more careful because it doesn't heal like that. But it's still really good for chasing down. It's still really good for getting away. It's one of those abilities that when you learn how to use it properly, it's way different of a character. That being said, I'm gonna give her free wins if you're good. She would be team reliant if that slow thing here if that slow thing didn't happen. But because you slow down and then you speed up again, it's very... It's just better. It's just better. Like, I think this character's in a great spot right now. I think she's in a great spot. Even if you're not good, you'll still help your team. But if you're good, it's so much easier to win. Okay. Next we have a Moon Knight. This character is getting a nerf. Bro, I don't care what any Moon Knight players say. This character is getting a nerf, and I mean ASAP. The ramifications of all this dude's little buffs and tweaks and all that extra stuff that he's been getting over the seasons, all added up, along with the 5% damage buff, bro, this guy is just nuts. He's easily one of the best DPS in the game without even needing to do anything other than just be in the right spot at the right time. Or you don't even have to play like that. You can play front to back now because he just does so much damage. This character's broken. I don't even need to talk about this character, bro. This character's broken. Free wins. He used to be like this for season 0, but then he dropped pretty hard. But now he's back. Free wins, without a doubt. Not even talk about him. Namor. So with Namor, I don't like this skin. I think it's cool, but I don't like the fingers. It bothers me. Poppin', you're weird. I know, but it's the fingers. Okay. So with Namor,
I have come to claim the rest. More foes to conquer.
I honestly think this character's pretty solid. Like real talk, I think this character's pretty solid.
Denizens of the deep.
Like, if you know how to play Namor,
Just as expected.
I think he's pretty solid. I don't really have much to say because he's very simple. But he, even like, remember, we're not talking about team ups. We're just talking about the character by themselves. He's actually a really solid character, and he's been getting a lot of hidden buffs throughout patches. It's very small every single time he gets one, so it's kind of just undetected. But the dude's good. The dude's good. If you're good, you will win without a doubt. Like, bro, this dude's good. He's actually pretty decent. People just don't play him. Penny, I'm not gonna talk much about it.
Just like me.
Easily free wins. I just want to make sure we have enough time to get through all the other tier lists. Easily free wins. The buff that she got is free. People just don't know how to deal with the nest in low ranks. I mean, honestly, even in high ranks, she's a pain. But people have a little bit more patience. In low ranks, everybody just runs in and does everything by themselves, and she's just a roadblock to it. And it's just not worth it to even let her through, especially if you add on Rocket. Yeah, good luck. Psylocke.
I fought Oni, slayed demons. Should be easy.
This one's kind of hard because I'm kind of stuck between two. So there's two Psylocks, right? There's a Psylocke that just AFKs, looks for ult, goes in, ults the team, and if they're successful, good job. If they're not, they're useless. And then you have the actual Psylocke players that play Psylocke, and they'll play in the back line, and they'll do all that. That being said, she's a very hit or miss character, and if you have one that doesn't know what they're doing, or if you have one that is too reliant on ultimate and it misses it, you have a chance to just have a really useless character on your team. And so, because this rank, like game sense wise, they don't really understand what it is to pull this character off to the fullest, I'm gonna say that she goes to free wins if you're good. If you're bad, you're probably not gonna get the W, because again, you know, that's what free wins if good's about. Yes, you could be good and do your stuff, but if you're like average at Psylocke and she requires the game sense, the understanding of like, cause she's very hit or miss. There's not a lot of windows for Psylocke to play the game. everything is very window oriented with this character. And if you don't really know what you're doing game sense wise, and again, usually people in this rank don't, there's not a lot of room for mistakes. There's not a lot of room for errors. And if you do your ult and people see it coming or you just fail, I mean, like, what do you do? What do you do then? So she's actually a lot harder to pull off in low ranks, given the fact that what low rank players know in terms of game sense, right? If someone were to smurf, they're gonna roll through, but we're not speaking on smurfs. We're just speaking on people who belong in this rank. And the knowledge that you have at the moment isn't enough to pilot the character to be as broken as she could be. All right, next we have Rocket. So with Rocket, he got a nice little buff with his healing things, and then he also had a nice buff to his minigun. That being said, that doesn't really make or break Rocket. It still is what it is. This character is just one of those characters. He's always going to be team reliant. It doesn't really matter. He's just kind of designed to do that. If you're smurfing, obviously you can do a lot more with this character, but in general, this character just isn't designed to carry a match. This character isn't designed to give, like, if you have a good or bad Rocket, it doesn't really matter. What you're thinking about good or bad Rocket is how often are you staying alive, right? Like, if you see someone play Rocket, they're good if they just dodge a lot of stuff. But dodging does indirectly help your team win, but like impact-wise, it isn't really doing anything. You just need to be alive. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you do better than other Rockets that make you more valuable. And he doesn't really, like, your team could suck, you'll get rolled over. Next, we have a Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is like really good. She's been good for a few seasons, but again, nobody really plays her. But I think she's amazing. The real thing that makes her really strong is that change to her ult, though. So that change to her ultimate was pretty insane, where she can move now, but then she also sucks people in, which means it's pretty easy to at least hit one target. And especially if they're ulting. Remember, we're in a rank where people just kind of fire the ult off and they don't really understand like when or why. She gets a lot of cheeky ults off for free. You can't battle her. She's gonna run you down. If you try to battle her, she'll run away. Like, it's a really solid character. She's just very straightforward, very easy to play, and people don't really like easy to play characters. But if you get good at her, without a doubt, you're getting free wins. This character is phenomenal. Next, we have the Spider of the Man.
Life is hard sometimes.
The Spider of the Man. All right, in previous seasons, what I would do is I would typically rate this character. I'd rate this character really high, but he's received so many nerfs. And players have gotten better at dealing with this character. He's definitely gone down. Now you could say, well, people got better at dealing with Magic and Black Panther and Iron Fist, which is true, they did. But the thing about Spider-Man is, in order to make this character work, you have to be pretty precise about everything. And you could do the basic Spider-Man, like myself. The basic Spider-Man that doesn't really do any tricks. You just kind of go in, you know, you be annoying, you come in, you pick up a free KO here and there, right? And then you just dip out and, you know, you're good to go. That could be like the basic Spider-Man. But then you have like the real Spider-Man players. And I mean, these dudes are phenomenal when I watch them, whether they're on my team or not. Like, these guys will get above you, and then they have a hotkey. They have a hotkey for the for this. They have a hotkey for it, so they have it separated. You have to pull, and then you have like, it's just so that if you tag them with the web, it doesn't automatically kick them. So you have the hotkey, so you can pull them. Even if they're like this, you can pull them. So they'll pull you up, and then they'll just do some crazy juggle, and then it's insane. It's insane. Like, it's actually insane. Like, even low rank Spider-Man's, it surprised me. It's great. It's great. That being said, you don't need to do all that to win a match with Spider-Man, right? You can be the most basic ever. As long as you're annoying, as long as you're hard to hit, you're good to go. The only difference is that Spider-Man cannot secure KOs being bad. Like, this is rough, bro. This is rough.
Watch out there.
Thing is, Spider-Man can't stay in long enough. He doesn't have a high enough uptime to be super impactful. But the dude needs to be precise. You can do this if you want, but because players gotten much better at aiming and much better at dealing with this character, being this type of Spider-Man that just jumps up and does this like he used to back in the day, it just doesn't work anymore. So you'll get clapped. So now Spider-Man players have obviously gotten used to that, and they don't play like that anymore. You might see some here or there that try to get away with it, but for the most part, you probably will get hit if you do that, and you'll get taken out. So the problem with Spider-Man right now is just uptime. He can get in there, he can do what he wants to do, but he has to leave like instantly. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. The dude has to dip out or he's gonna get, one shot. And you need to be able to pull off everything you need to pull off before you leave. When it comes to Spider-Man, or when it comes to like something like Black Panther, when he's in, it's free. Everything you do, in a sense, right, is the same as your escape and your damage. With Magic, same exact thing. Everything you do is pretty much the same as your escape and your damage. But with Spider-Man, he has to turn on the damage, and then he has to turn off the escape, and that's a lot of stuff to juggle. And as I said before, if this were like Season 0 Marvel Rivals character, insane. But because it's not, this one's hard, dude. This was so difficult. This was so difficult. I'm trying to not think of it as me smurfing, because if I play this character in these ranks, bro, it's fine. But it's hard. I have to keep in mind the people that are here. The people that are here, they still struggle. I got to. I got to. It's battling me. I got to. But it's team reliant, bro. You can be the best Spider-Man in the world, but I promise you, if your team sucks, you're probably gonna lose. The only reason I'm saying this is because there's a lot of characters that can deal with him now pretty easily, right? And there's a lot of players that understand how to deal with Spider-Man now. So if you factor in that they're dropping characters to deal with him, and they nerfed him, and people know how to deal with this character now, like, it's way easier to just deal with him. It's way easier. You need to pop off to win, and if you're popping off, you wouldn't be in this rank. So that's where we're gonna put him. That's where we're gonna put him for these ranks. Next we have Squirrel Girl. Let's try to get through them so we can do the other list as well without running out of time. So next we have Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl's pretty straightforward. She received a little minor buff, but I don't think it was too crazy, but it was still a good buff. I don't see her anymore, to be honest. I really don't see her anymore. And if you're not that great with her, you're probably not gonna win the game. So we're gonna put her where they are, which is free wins if you're good. But if you're bad, you're probably not gonna get wins. And that's pretty much that. As simple as like Squirrel Girl is, it isn't a free win character as people might think it is. People that think it's a free win character probably don't play Squirrel Girl. But if you actually give her some time from match to match to match, you'll see there's more to that character that meets the eye. Next we have Star-Lord. Pretty simple. Free wins. The boy just has a free ult. That just wipes the team. And again, people don't understand when to counter him. So what they'll do is they'll support, so just burn ult. And then he just comes in with ult and then just KOs everybody. If you do that, you'll get so many more wins. It's insane. Next we have Storm. So Storm did receive a slight little buff. Nothing too crazy, but it was good. She's still in the same spot. She's still in the same spot that she's been in for a few seasons. And if you're good, you'll win. If you're not, you won't. It's pretty straightforward. Next, we have the Punisher. So when it comes to the Punisher, pretty straightforward. He actually got a nice little buff this patch too. This one's kind of hard. This is kind of hard because this character actually is really solid.
Heads up.
This was hard, bro. All right. If you're good, you'll get the wins. I was going to say free wins, but that's incorrect. You got to be good. You got to be good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, bro. If you're like an average Punisher, you're probably not going to win the match. Let me be honest. You do need to be a little bit above average to win with that character. Next is Thor. Thor is pretty free. Pretty free character. He's extremely strong. Next we have Venom. Venom. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Next we have Venom. So people think he's broken, and I don't really see it. I think a lot of Venom players don't even really know what they're doing. He's strong. He's strong, but I think in Bronze to Diamond, 50-50. 50-50. I don't actually think he's much of a problem. A lot of Venom players typically just spam their dive. And like if the team can engage off of it, good. If they can't, he kind of just is useless. Like he doesn't really do much. As much as I love me some Venom, kind of where he is. Next we have Bucky. The old Buckinator.
But still the person behind him that matters most.
This character I want to put at free wins, but the thing is people don't really understand how to play yet. Again, a lot of this is just stemming from people don't really understand how to play the game at these ranks. So you are gonna have to be good with Bucky. Once you are, you'll be pretty solid. Next we have Wolverine. I've actually been playing some Wolverine because I was interested. Yo, this character is actually goated. I don't care. This character is really good. People don't play him though, but this character is actually insane. That being said, 50-50 team reliant. Wolverine requires way too much game sense that, again, people just do not have in these ranks, and they're gonna fail. They're gonna fail. It's not the player. It's not the kit's problem or the character's problem. It's just the player just doesn't really know how to do it. Remember, we're talking about this as a solo player or a duo, not a stack, not being pre-made, playing with people. What is your impact by yourself or with a duo? And you don't really have much with Wolverine. You have to be really good to pull that off. And if your team sucks, you're not. If they're good and they can capitalize, you're good to go. But he's just not as strong as he used to be back in the day. Next, we have Mr. Fantastic. Free wins without a doubt, especially with this dude's ultimate. With this dude's ultimate, it's really good. He's just also got a buff. This character is insane. Character's been insane. He's always been insane. I always put this guy as high rated. Even when people thought he was really bad back in the day, the character was hidden. People just, like, for some reason, I don't know. I don't know why. But character's always been good. Always been good. Always will be good. This character's kid is just really good. He has some issues, so timing is important. Not as much anymore, but it was before when people considered him bad. Timing was a little bit more important about what you did and why. But he's good into a lot of things. The only real issue that he would have is if they're all ranged, right? Like if there was a Magneto and then a Hela and a Hawkeye, and then like they have all these characters that are very good at distance, he's gonna struggle. But that really goes with every single melee character. But as long as he can get to you, character's really good. Very good at just stalling time, being annoying. Just super solid. It's like a mini Thor. Just super solid character. Next we have Invisible Woman. So Invisible Woman just got a buff. It's a really nice buff too. Needless to say, free wins if you're good. Free wins if you're good. She used to be 50-50, but especially with all these changes that she's received, bro, you can carry a match. Next we have Human Torch. Every Fantastic had a nice little buff except this guy this patch. Crazy. With Human Torch, he's team reliant. Like even if you're good, This one's more of a kit base more than a player base, but even if you're good, it's just, it's not enough. It's not enough. He's not designed to carry, he's just designed to be a zoner. He's like an enabler. So doesn't mean he's bad. Just remember the impact you have. Doesn't really matter how good you get with this character. He's gonna be in the same area regardless. The Thing. So people think this character is just bad, which is funny because it's a troll. The reason why people think this character is bad is because they can't be mindless with the character anymore. I noticed that a lot of the nerfs that people receive, if it's a nerf that makes the character not mindless anymore, meaning the player has to think, that's when people say the character is unplayable. So it really goes to show you the player base that we have, that we think that characters that require you to use your brain after a nerf is unplayable regardless. That makes no sense. When he hops in, he doesn't get the damage reduction anymore. So Thing players can't just jump to the back line and just be annoying, and they can't do that. They're gonna get one-shotted, especially by like Phoenix or Hela, because he's so massive. It's very hard to whiff. But his frontline presence is a lot better now. His protection presence is a lot better now. The character is really, really good, and I would put him at free wins, but that reduction really makes it so you can't be as brainless as you used to be. I'm lying. We're gonna still put you can't be brainless, but I'm still putting him at free wins. This character's freaking broke, bro. Alright, next we have Emma Frost. I haven't really been seeing too much of this character lately. I don't know why, but people aren't really playing her as much. I think it's just because she received a few nerfs, but also it's pretty much similar to Spider-Man. People just got used to playing against her. Before it was like, Emma Frost is so broken, oh my god, it's crazy, you can't do nothing. And then people know how to dodge her grab now. People know how to space against her now, which is what I said when she first dropped. I was like, she's only good because people don't know how to space. If you know how to space against this character, if you know how to dodge the grab, she's not really a threat anymore. Compound that with her nerfs. I mean, again, same spot as Spidey. You just get used to it. She's not bad. She's not bad. You just get used to it. She's not as strong as she used to be because we know how to deal with it now. So we're gonna put her here at free wins if you're good. She's still really, really strong. Next we have Ultron. Bro, Ultron. I love you, Ultron. Ultron, I'm not even gonna talk about him. Again, we gotta get through this list so we can get through the other ones. Ultron is broken. Bro, play Ultron, character's busted. I don't know how people don't have success with this character. This character's broken. Like, without a doubt, this character's insane. I remember when he got nerfed, people were like, why? Bro, no. Character is phenomenal. Character's broken. All right, next we have Phoenix. With Phoenix, pretty much free wins if you're good. Next we have Blade. Given the rank and kind of how people play this character, it's more of a 50-50 team reliant. I don't really see much happening with the character. Even if you are good, he's still lackluster in a sense compared to everybody else. Next, we have Angelina Jolie. So I actually really like this character. I've been playing her quite a bit. I shall go down fighting. So there's a problem with Angela that people don't really understand. And a lot of the times, players don't really understand how to tank in general. And then they play Angela. Angela's like the luxury. Angela's what you play after you know how to play tank traditionally. Because there's a lot of holes that Angela can't fill, that if you don't know how to deal with it regularly, you won't know how to deal with it with her. That's pretty much how niche characters work. Niche characters have blaring like positives, but they have also like very blaring negatives. And if you don't understand what you're doing game sense wise, those negatives are even worse. So as an example, when it comes to playing Cap, I know that character so well that even if I'm hit with the negatives that he has, like not being able to deal with flyers, not being able to actually be in the vicinity of flyers because they'll shoot him, not being able to deal with like a Bucky or an Iron Fist, like I know how to deal with that. Not only because I know how to play Cap, but I know how to play tank. Angela's similar to that. If you know how to play tank, you should be able to pilot Angela and fix a lot of those holes. But if you don't know how to tank and then you're playing Angela, she's gonna be a lot worse. And I see that a lot with Angela players, a lot. Because frontline is not as important in these ranks, you can kind of get away with just being very good at Angela. You can get away with it. But as you climb, frontlining becomes a little bit more important. The presence of the character becomes more important. And at that point, you're going to need to learn what to do. And she will drop. But in my opinion, she still free wins if you're good, because the character is really good. And then Daredevil. Daredevil. The young DD. Where is he at? Daredevil. So when it comes to the young Daredevil, people think this character is broken, and I still don't see it. They're like, he could do this, he could do this, he could do this. And then when you see it in game, it's like, bro, character's buns. But he's pretty much similar to everybody else. If you're good, you'll make him work. If he's bad, he's gonna get rolled over in these ranks. And then last but not least, we have the new hero, which is Gambit. Honestly, this is probably a hot take, but I think he's 50-50. I think he's 50-50. They might be like, Papa, you're crazy. You're crazy, bro. You're crazy, bro. The thing with him is, again, you're in a rank where people do not understand how to do certain things. This character requires the understanding, the basics, at minimum, to do certain things to carry a match. A lot of Gambit players probably don't do that. What they do is they go way too deep in terms of DPS and they just try to fight all the time. Or they're way too passive and they try to just heal. He sucks at both, all right? He needs to like do them both at the same time, and he needs to know when. You don't have this knowledge yet. If you did, you wouldn't be in these ranks. He doesn't have enough to compensate for someone who's bad. And if your team sucks and you don't know how to do any of that stuff, you'll lose. So that's where I think Gambit should be. This is the tier list that we have. This is the tier list that we have. I'm going to turn off my camera real quick. That's the tier list that we have for bronze to diamond. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to speed run the rest of the ranks. Okay. So, let's go ahead. And so this is going to be the bronze to diamond. Now we are going to do GM to Celestial. Oops, let me not cap it. I guess, should I just write it out? I guess it's fine. All right, so now we have Grandmaster to Celestial. Okay, let's get through this. We got some time on the board, but I want to make sure we're done before the end of everything here. I'm going to actually turn off my PlayStation now because we don't need it on. Okay, so here we go. Adam Warlock for Grandmaster to Celestial. Adam Warlock. He's 50-50. He's 50-50. And remember, we're talking about this as a solo duo, and we're talking about this in the context of 2-2-2, not a 3 healer. He's 50. He drops down because at this point, people know how to dodge. At this point, people know how to take cover, more or less. At this point, people know a little bit more about target priority. At this point, they just know how to deal with a character like that now. It's not about I can just stand anywhere and shoot shots and I win. They'll dive you, you'll miss shots, you'll get out-sniped. You're gonna get run over. If your team like really straight up sucks, there's nothing you can do about it. And you're really just banking on your team to carry you. Next, we have Black Panther. Still pretty similar Honestly, I still think he's free wins. Next, we have Black Widow. Good luck. Next, we have... That's a lie. We'll move her up. She's about 50-50. The thing is, it doesn't really matter how good or bad you get with Black Widow. You're probably not carrying a match. But if there's a good Black Widow and your team can play with it, then, you get a little bit more out of it. Because at this point, people understand target priority. At this point, people understand how to use cover. Black Widows definitely know how to position by this point. Like, if you play Black Widow in these ranks, you're definitely more of a mature player than a lot of the other players that play other characters. So you do know what you're doing, but it's just not enough without your team doing well. If your team just straight up blows, you're not winning the match. Next, we have Cap. 50-50 team reliant. This one's hard, bro. I'm trying to think about me, but I'm an Eternity/One above all players. So playing him in these ranks aren't that difficult. But like when I think about other Cap players, he doesn't work. So I think it's 50-50. Next, you have Cloak and Dagger. Free wins if you're good. If you're bad, you're not really going to make anything work. You're going to get run over. But if you're good, if you're pretty decent, you'll be fine. Doctor Strange. Free wins if you're good, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. You don't see a lot of like Strange MVPs anymore. Pop it. Get into the mindset of people in this rank. Stop ranking it based off your gameplay. Just get into it. Grandmaster Celestial, how do they play? All right. I'm in the mindset. He's team reliant. Next, we have Groot. Team reliant. Next, we have Hawkeye. Free wins if you're good. Next, we have Hela. Free wins if you're good. Next, we have Hulk. Ooh. I honestly still think this boy is free wins. Iron Fist, free wins. Iron Man, free wins if you're good. Jeff, good luck. Loki, free wins if you're good. Think in the mindset of Grandmaster Celestial, not your own gameplay. This is difficult, man. We're going to put him there. 50-50 team reliant. Even if you're good, you probably don't know enough to carry the match. Luna Snow, 50-50 team reliant. Magic, free wins. Magneto. Not gonna lie, you can... Nah. Jesus, man. All right. Mantis. I honestly think free wins if you're good. Bro, like, Mantis is good right now. Moon Knight, definitely still free wins. Namor, still pretty similar. Free wins if you're good. Penny, you're going to have to be good with her. She isn't just like mindlessly free winning anymore. Psylocke, free wins. By this point, you know enough about how to play the game where she becomes free wins. Rocket, the same. Scarlet Witch. I'm going to say free wins if you're good. Spider-Man. Free wins if you're good. By this point, you know enough about the game. By this point, you know enough about the character. You'll be able to win if you're actually a good Spider-Man. Squirrel Girl. Free wins if you're good. Star-Lord. Star-Lord is rough. Like, even if you're good, old boy is still not free wins. People just know now. Very rarely do I see a Star-Lord get away with Legendary in more than once a match. Bro, if this guy pops out Legendary, catch everybody off guard, he will. But he's not doing it again. There's going to be a Magneto. There's going to be someone taking this guy out the sky. There's going to, like... If we're all the same skill level, Star-Lord is a bit more team reliant. This is hard. This is hard because I'm thinking about everything I know, right? And how I play. But I know that's not how this rank plays. So I can't even rank these things based off of my knowledge because they don't play like this. Storm, 50-50. Punisher, still free wins if you're good. I mean, Punisher is pretty solid. I think he's always been. Thor, I think he's free wins. My Thor win rate is really high, but I know when I should and shouldn't do things. If you're good, you'll pop off. Venom. By this point, if you're good, he'll win. Bucky, bro, you already know how to play the game at this point. He'll just stomp. Wolverine, he's still pretty freaking lackluster, bro. He's still gonna rely on his team. Mr. Fantastic, I still think he's just a free wins if you're good. Mr. Invisible. Invisible Woman, team reliant. I mean, at this point, most strategists are team reliant. Human Torch, again, not really a carry character. The Thing, you have to be good. I mean, at this point, you can't just mindlessly hop in. You're gonna get focused pretty hard. And you'll get obliterated. It's not even a joke. Next, Emma. Nah, we're moving thing up. This boy still free wins. Emma. I don't know, man. I don't really see this character be successful anymore. Oh, this is so difficult. I'm going to say 50-50 team reliant. The thing is, people know how to play against Emma now. It is not a surprise. So a lot of what they try to do doesn't really work anymore. I still think if you one trick the character, you'll probably be fine. But we're just thinking in the general player base, not someone who has 1,000 hours, but someone who just basically understands the character. I think it's team reliant. Next you have Ultron. It's still free wins if you're good, just not off the bat. You have to be good at them. Next you have Phoenix, free wins if you're good. She's still really great. Next you have Blade, team reliant. Even if you're good, he just doesn't have enough. I mean, that's a lie. By this point, you understand a lot about the game. Angela, this is more team reliant. The thing is, you're really going to have to know what to do should you be gone. You know what I mean? So, like, when she goes in and she flies away, if you don't do this right, or if you're not in there long enough, people are just going to, like, run your team over when you're gone or something like that. You have to be a lot more attentive when you're playing Angela. And again, that's more of like a 1,000 hours Angela main. And obviously, if you have that many hours in Angela, you probably will play her regardless of a tier list. Next, we have Daredevil. I think free wins if you're good. Then next, we have Gambit. I think free wins if you're good. The thing about the free wins if you're good category, as I said before, just to reiterate, if you're not good with any of these characters, they all suck. Like, all of them. They all go down to good luck. So when I say you need to be good to get the free wins, I'm serious. If you're anything less, if you're just average, you're not going to win with these characters. You have to actually be good at the characters to get the value from the characters. So keep that in mind. All right, so that is the tier list for Grandmaster to Celestial. pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Last tier list that we have, I feel like I'm gonna have an easier time with this one just because it's higher rank. Last one that we have is going to be eternity to one above all. So this is where things get funky, because by this point, players really understand the game. So let's get going. Adam Warlock. I'm thinking about him in like all the context, but like in a straight 2, if the comp is 2-2-2, you're gonna have to be like insanely cracked for Adam to work, and most of the time, you probably won't be. Even if you're this high of rank, you have to perform exceptionally well with this character, and it's just way too much work to pull that off. Black Panther. He can't get away with a lot of what he used to get away with back in the other ranks. So he's basically 50-50. Like, you got to make sure that your team is going to do something with your pressure, because if they don't, you're going to get KO'd. And if they do, then, you know, good job. Like, timing is very important here, and you're not just button mashing. And if you do that, you're going to get lit. Black Widow. Again, she's actually a pretty solid character. But even if you're really good, you're not carrying a match. This one's hard, bro. Why is it so difficult? It was never this hard before. I'm gonna move her up. Bro, there are some really good Black Widows out there, and I will say, if you are a good one at that rank, the game is way easier for everybody else on your team, as long as you just remain relevant. Because dealing with a sniper is incredibly difficult to do. Incredibly difficult. Next, we have Captain America. Just the same, 50-50 team reliant. Honestly, I just think he's good luck. I don't even play this character in these ranks because it isn't really worth it. You have to be on comms. I don't use comms when I climb, and I know that's a me thing. Maybe you guys that play solo or duo, you guys do use comms and you talk to your teams, but I don't. And in that sense, in order for him to work, everybody's got to be on the same page, and that just doesn't happen that often. You're most likely going to get it's hard to play Cap in those ranks, man. It's very difficult. Next, we have Cloak and Dagger, team reliant. She's not really going to do what she did before in the other ranks. Next, we have Strange, team reliant. Groot, team reliant. Hawkeye, free wins if you're good for sure. Hela, free wins off the bat. Hulk, free wins if you're good. Yeah, this dude's just not stomping matches. Iron Fist, free wins if you're good. Iron Man, team reliant. This character can't really play the game anymore once you're in those ranks. Jeff, good luck. I'll move him up. So the thing about this rank is, like, usually players are so good and they always talk on comms. More often than not, if you're playing in these ranks, people are on comms. And it's very easy to carry a weak link when they're losing. I lied. We're going to keep it because I'm thinking of, like, they're going to swap and, like, fix it, but we're sticking to the 2-2-2 comp. Like, just imagine your team will not swap and you're running 2-2-2s. I lied. Jeff still sucks. It would only work if they compensate by adding a third healer, or they'll compensate by switching it up, maybe adding a third DPS. But if we're really just running straight 2-2-2s, it's not going to work. Loki. The thing with Loki is I think his cooldowns are just a little bit too high for a rank that has such uptime. I'm not saying he won't work because I play him there, but the thing is, if you mess up any of your cooldowns, generally speaking, Eternity players and One Above All players, and it is different. If you're like Eternity 0 points, it is not the same as being Eternity like 200 points. The players are, the skill gap is massive. But we're encompassing it overall, so that is still factored in. Loki, if you mess up any of your abilities and you're stuck with no cooldowns, Loki will get abused because people are generally better at abusing cooldowns. That being said, a Loki player at this rank should be good enough to not do that and waste it. This one's rough. I'm going to give him Team Reliant. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because the character's not bad. And if you are a pretty good Loki, you'll be fine. You're not going to carry a match, but you'll be all right. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Luna Snow, Team Reliant. She's a good character, but, you know, she's not carrying anything. Magic, free wins if you're good. By this point, people understand how to deal with magic, so she's not really much of a stress anymore. Magneto. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Magneto will run through some games. But at this point, you understand how to play, you understand how to position, you understand how to take people out. The thing with Strange is he takes a second to do it, and you know when it's coming. Also, when he ults, you know it's coming. But with Mag, again, we're assuming if you're playing these characters, you already understand how to play the character. We're not saying you have 1,000 hours deep, but you're not just picking these characters to pick the character. You understand how to play the character. So there's just so much that Mag can do. And because he's so strong, he's capable of getting away with a lot. Like, even if you're just sitting there, minding your business and just holding. Dang, this one's hard, bro. Nah, we're gonna have to drop him. This is godly. If you're average, he's not gonna work. I'm not gonna lie. You have to be above average to get this character to like really roll games. He's not 50-50 reliant because when you're good at him, bro, this character demolishes. But you do have to be good at him, and if you're not, you're just gonna be like cooked. Mantis. I think by this point it's 50-50. Moon Knight, free wins if you're good. Namor, I think by this point it's 50-50. You can't really get away with a lot of cheeky stuff that you got away with before. People just understand it now. Penny, good luck. Yo, Penny is... We're not factoring in the team up here. Yeah, Penny's gonna get rolled, bro. Psylocke, easily free wins. Rocket, I'm still relying on his team. I mean, that's just how the character works. Scarlet Witch, relying on her team. Spider-Man, free wins if you're good. Squirrel Girl, pretty team reliant. People just understand how to deal with her by this point. Star-Lord, team reliant. You're waiting for your team to like give you the heads up to be able to play the game. Storm, good luck. By this point, she's very easy to deal with. Your ult's not KOing anybody unless you use Jeff. You'll just be out healed through it. There's not, even if you're an insane Storm player, like, I don't know what they're gonna do with that character to really pump her, make her really good. But I also think that she's just supposed to not be a carry. I think she's supposed to be more team focused. You know what I mean? So it makes sense there. Punisher, 50-50 team reliant. Thor, 50-50 team reliant. Thor's not bad, but it kind of runs into the same issue as Cap. But the thing about Thor is Thor's kit is way better than Cap's. And his ability to actually KO targets is whip. Yeah, we're gonna keep him there. Next, we have Venom. Venom gets way better the higher rank you get. This dude definitely is just nuts. Bucky, free wins all day. Wolverine. Yeah, free wins if you're good. Mr. Fantastic. This one's rough. I'm gonna do free wins if you're good. The thing about Mr. Fantastic and like the thing about playing characters that are front facing, so to speak, like Thor, Mr. Fantastic, Hulk, Venom, like the characters that are like really like in their face, the target priority for these ranks are very high. If they see someone just a bit separated from their team and you're diving or you're getting too close, they'll just all light you up at the same time. And if they do that, you're gonna get one shot. So this really, it's more of a positioning and timing thing once you get towards these ranks here. Invisible Woman, I mean, come on, she's really good. Human Torch. I think right now, good luck. I think right now, he's still pretty decent, but like, why play him when you can play someone else? He's like around Storm. He's like, you're more of a team like pick rather than anything else. And even if you're good, it doesn't really do much for you. Nah, I lied. He's better than Storm. I'm gonna put him at Team Reliant. The thing, at this point, you're gonna probably have to be a good one. You're not getting away with a lot of what you used to get away with. Emma. I'm gonna say Team Reliant. Her whole kit is just avoidable. It's blocked. It's abused. She's very window based. She's very telegraphed. This character doesn't really work that much anymore. As I said, she got nerfed, but people also understand how to deal with her, and they understand it even more now. So it's pretty easy to rock an Emma Frost by this point. Like if she ults, you just hold up the shield because Strange is picked a lot of the times now. Okay, what are you gonna do? Nothing. If she tries to walk you down, your team's gonna light her up. Like, there's not really much wiggle room she has. She's definitely playing off of her team a lot of the times. Ultron, free wins if you're good. That's it. Ultron is just really good. Phoenix, free wins if you're good. Blade. You're Team Reliant. Angela. By this rank, the Angela player would know exactly what she's doing. And by this rank, your teammates would understand how to play with an Angela. I'm going to put her here. It's probably a hot take. But I've seen some really insane Angela players. And a lot of Angela's weakness is really just your team understanding how to play with Angela. A lot of players in Eternity or One Above All, they understand how you play with other characters. They understand, like if you ask any of them, And you're like, well, how do you play with this character? They'll know exactly what to do. And that's why the games there feel more like a real Marvel Rivals games. So I think when it comes to Angela, your team will know. And on top of that, there's a lot more comms. So the Angela will probably be communicating. Again, I don't use comms when I play, but I know everybody else does. And they should be able to communicate. There's a difference between her and Cap, where Cap doesn't really do anything, but Angela is a problem. Angela can displace, Angela can lock you in a spot, Angela can be a threat to the back line, right? There's a lot that she can do. I know a lot of people see Angela as just like a cheese, grab people off and knock them off the cliff, but the character is definitely able to do a lot more. Next, we have Daredevil. Oh man, bro, every single Daredevil I've won against is not a problem. Like the only way Daredevil does anything is when the team enables him to do stuff. He doesn't really do anything alone. Yeah, I'm gonna put him down at Team Reliant. And then when it comes to Gambit, Gambit is hard, bro. The thing is, like, how often are you gonna get away with a lot of dumb stuff when you're playing Gambit at high ranks? I'm gonna say free wins if you're good. So this is pretty much the list. Free wins really doesn't matter if you're good or bad, bro. You're probably gonna win the match anyway. You're that much of a problem with the character. Free wins if good means that if you're good, you have a higher chance of winning with the character. But if you're bad or average, you're probably gonna lose. Like point blank period. You're probably not gonna win the match if you're average or bad. You need to be above average and you're gonna be able to do a lot more with the team. If you aren't, you're not good, you're gonna lose the match, hands down, because these characters are garbage if you don't know what you're doing. 50-50 team reliant means that you don't really have enough to make the game open by yourself. You are reliant on your team either pressuring with you, creating an opening for you, being aware of what you're doing to pocket you. Like, you can't do things on your own. You do need your team to help facilitate in some capacity in order for you to actually successfully win team fights. And then with good luck, I mean, you can play them, but it's really hard to get any value out of these characters. Unless you're just dead on cracked or you are straight up one trick. It's funny because I always tell you guys, whenever I climb, all the Cap players are stuck in Celestial, like all of them. After you get out of Celestial, you don't see them anymore. But if you're in Celestial, you'll run into a lot of Cap players repeatedly. And it's funny because it really just goes to show that character, he just doesn't have what he needs to be played at those ranks. People just abuse him. He's just too straightforward. So, yeah, this is the tier list for Eternity /Wonder Above All. Again, If you guys want to see the quick version, it will be coming out. I'm going to be dropping a quicker version, just going over all of these. So be ready for that. But I think this is a pretty solid tier list. This tier list was hard. This tier list was really hard. All three of them were difficult. Usually I'm able to blaze through, but I was really stumped on some. And I think a lot of it comes to some of the nerfs and buffs that characters like released. But you guys know, as the game lives, players get better. Each season, better and better and better and better. So a lot of what these characters would get away with in season 1 or 2, it just does not fly in 5. You know what I mean? And so that's why it starts to get a little bit more difficult to place them, because people are becoming more aware of how to play better at this point. People still don't take accountability. We know this. But as a player base as a whole, each season, people do get better and better and better and better and better. And so it was really difficult to do this one. But factoring it in, I think we did a pretty decent job. Remember, this is a solo climb tier list or a duo climb tier list. For those of you that play as 5s, or, well, you can't play as 5, as 4 or 6. Obviously, what you choose or how you play together would make some of these characters better or worse, right? But in the sake of someone who's climbing by themselves or climbing with a duo, and then obviously, if you choose to use comms or not, these are what the characters kind of give you without doing any of that. So, that being said, this is that tier list. So, thank you guys for watching. Do appreciate it. We will be dropping the quicker one today. Maybe like right after, if I can get it done, but we'll see. But I'll try to drop it in a few hours if I can. And that is just going to go over everything. It's not going to have any explanations. If you want explanations, just watch this. But if you don't want explanations for things, and you just want to see things just laid out, it will be laid out for you there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Do appreciate it. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Often, often. Will often. Peace, peace, late, late. Enjoy the rest of your day or night whenever you're having it. I might stream later today, and I might stream Rivals, but I don't want to hold you guys to that, so don't expect it if I don't. Peace, peace.